Brian D. Hill started the organization United We Stand, We the People Run the Government.org, also known as USWGO, in 2009. He wrote many articles for his website and was getting thousands and thousands of hits each day to his website. He also had a popular radio show on Blog Talk Radio, as well as a YouTube channel in which he did interviews with many people. On May 14, 2012, Brian D. Hill presented a petition to North Carolina Senator Phil Berger.
So as a service to my town of Mayodan and my state of North Carolina, I give to Senator Berger a copy of my petition and my report for my state legislator. I also have, all right. Thank you.
On May 15, 2012, Brian D. Hill wrote an article for his website. It was entitled, North Carolina Senator Phil Berger receives the Nullify NDAA petition at the Mayodan Town Hall. On June 18, 2012, Brian D. Hill wrote another article for his website. It was entitled, North Carolina Senator Phil Berger refuses to take action on Nullify NDAA, betrays his constituents. On June 18, 2012, Brian Hill wrote an email to many different people. The subject was, Senator Phil Berger betrays his constituents, and the U.S. and North Carolina Constitution will likely ruin my town resolution. Here he sent it to Leslie Hopper of the town of Mayodan and Michael Brent of the town of Mayodan. They were in the town council. He also sent it to Sheriff Sam Page of Rockingham County. He wrote, Dear all media, Town of Mayodan, Alternative Media, everybody who has been watching the NDAA fight unfold in Rockingham County, North Carolina. As many of you watching has now learned, North Carolina Senator and President pro tempore Philip E. Berger, that runs a law firm called the Berger Law Firm in Eden, North Carolina, and is also the town attorney for Mayodan, has literally betrayed us and stabbing every one of his constituents in the back. On June 20th, 2012, Brian D. Hill organized an event. Brian Hill posted messages on Meetup and Facebook. He wrote, Can you attend our event to confront traitor North Carolina Senator Phil Berger?
The first thing on our agenda tonight is the public comment period, and we have Mr. Brian Hill to speak today.
Hello. Today, I'd like to talk about what is concerning the town resolution that couldn't make it because of the fact that I'm trying to go against the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2012 to 2013 because it's in violation of the United States Constitution. It's in violation of the North Carolina Constitution. It undermines the United States. It undermines every town and city. Anyone in America can just be taken away. When on public record, the underwear bomber is run by the CIA. It's on record from government whistleblowers that Al-Qaeda is publicly funded by, they're by the Bilderberg Group, the CIA. And so I don't understand why we need to take away people's rights to a court trial, the rights to an attorney, the rights to be able to have habeas corpus, to be able to go out of prison if you're illegally detained, the rights to be able to challenge your accusers and have a jury trial. All that is just being taken away. All it was trying to do is basically protect this town from this unconstitutional and lawful tyranny. People think that they can rely on the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court is faltering under the Obama administration because the Supreme Court is just, they're starting to make decisions that are not Constitution. It's just, I'm not sure if we can rely on the Supreme Court much of anymore. Under the lock system that I've heard about from Dr. Michael Kaufman, the system was supposed to be that the towns and cities have the most authority and that the federal government try not to run our lives, that they just make laws on behalf of the states. The states were supposed to have a little bit more power, then the county have a little bit more over the lives of their citizenry, and then the towns and cities. And now it's gotten to the point where now everything is run by the Fed runs everything, we're under an empire, executive orders, totally illegal, unconstitutional, Marbury versus Madison 1803. The CIA, the Bilderberg Group, runs Al-Qaeda and wants to kill Ron Paul on record, yet they want us to give up our civil liberties and be groped at the airports so we can have security. That's basically a lie. So I'm hoping that the town finds some legal way to get this resolution through so that we can protect our citizens' rights to a court trial and to an attorney.
On July 10th, 2012, reporter Brian D. Hill went to the town council meeting to ask Senator Phil Berger a question. The police chief then escorted him out of town hall.
Hey, Phil Berger, or State Senator Phil Berger. This is Brian D. Hill with We Are Change North Carolina USWGO Alternative News. I have a few questions to ask you real quick before I go. Why did you decide to take no action on the Nullify NDAA petition?
Mr. Hill, I'm not going to answer your questions.
We're in closed session. Okay.
On the same day, Mr. Hill wrote an article entitled Reporter Intimidated and Booted from Town Council when Asking a Question. A couple days later, Brian D. Hill wrote an article entitled This is a formal political no-confidence complaint against North Carolina State Senator Philip Edward Berger and his office by Brian D. Hill. On the same day that Brian wrote that article, his mother went to a nearby store. As she was walking, a black SUV pulled up. It turned out that there were police officers in the vehicle, and they began to question her. They asked her if she had seen a girl walking around, which she had not, and they also asked her where she lived, in which case she replied that she lived in a stone house a little ways down, and pointed down the road. Brian Hill was concerned that the police were watching them, and he wrote about his concerns on Present Planet Forum on July 12, 2012. Unknown at the time, just 8 days later, a police officer hacked into the IP address where Brian David Hill lived. In number 59 of the search warrant, it says, your affiant then selected the option to monitor a particular IP address, in this case, 24.148.156.211 on July 20th, 2012. When the IP address was online in the eDonkey network, your affiant's computer would automatically begin to download the files available for trade by the suspect's computer. This is done through a law enforcement-only designed system, which your affiant refers to as undercover investigative software, hereinafter referred to as UIS. Currently used in state and local peer-to-peer P2P file sharing investigations and utilized through the CPS suite of tools. In this particular case, it was used to request a download of the files of child pornography from IP address 24.148.156.211. Downloading is a transfer of data from one computer to another. Since your affiant was doing the download, your affiant was receiving data which was transmitted from another computer. And it turns out that police detective Robert W. Bridge was the one that was hacking into Mr. Hill's computer. Furthermore, a quick read of Attachment D, which is the affidavit which was done by Robert W. Bridge, shows that he did not obtain a search warrant to hack into the Hill's IP address. Just a little over a month later, on August 28, 2012, a search warrant was served by the Mayadan Police Department. The police removed computers, hard drives, thumb drives, CDs, DVDs, floppy disk, and other devices from the home. The police set up an appointment for the next day so that the Hills could pick up the inventory list of all the items that they seized from the Hill household. It was at that time that they questioned both the mother and Brian Hill about his computer. They were both told that they found child pornography on Mr. Hill's laptop computer. His mother wrote an article. The name of the article is False Confessions of People with Autism, and it is currently on the Autism Parenting magazine website. His mom wrote, "When my son was 22 years old, he was questioned by our local police department and coerced into a false confession. He was told if he didn't confess, they could charge his mom with the crime. They also tried to befriend him by asking questions about his website, telling him that they had visited it. These are tactics that can confuse a person with autism. Unfortunately, many law enforcement agencies are unaware of the issues that can occur with questioning people with autism. In my son's case, when the police arrived at our home with a search warrant, I told the officers that my son had autism. Despite my having told them, the day after the police raid on our home, 2 police officers questioned him alone. They spoke to me about his autism before questioning him, and they asked me how much he understood. I told them that he would have to be evaluated by an expert, because I did not know the answer to that question. Despite my answer, he was interrogated without an autism advocate or lawyer." was not able to fully look at his discovery report. His lawyer only gave him a few minutes to read over it, and that's nearly not enough time for him to read fully the entire discovery report, which was a big file with hundreds of pages. Brian's family decided to make an appointment with his lawyer to view the discovery report after he returned home. To their amazement, they found out that the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigations had shared all of this information with the district attorney, Philip E. Berger, Jr. Now, Philip E. Berger, Jr. was the son of the state senator pro tempore Philip Berger Sr. So it was interesting because Brian Hill had been writing articles about Philip Berger, and now they found out that his son was involved in his case. The family noticed that the discovery report had dates that conflicted with the search warrant seizure of the computer. The discovery report says 454 files had been downloaded with the email program between July 20th, 2012 and July 28th, 2013. The search warrant was served on August 28, 2012. It was at that time that they took all of the computers from the Hill household. For 11 months, Brian Hill did not have his computer. It was in the possession of the Mayodan Police Department and the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigations. Brian Hill's grandmother recently realized information that is very significant to Brian Hill's case. In the search warrant Attachment D, there is an affidavit by Robert W. Bridge. Robert W. Bridge, Reidsville Police Detective, made an affidavit in which he states on number 59, your affiant then selected the option to monitor a particular IP address. In this case, 24.148.156.211 on July 20th, 2012. When the IP address was online in the eDonkey network, your affiant's computer would automatically begin to download the files available for trade by the suspect's computer. This is done through a law enforcement only designed system, which your affiant refers to as undercover investigative software. Currently used in state and local peer-to-peer P2P file sharing investigations and utilized through the CPS suite of tools. Now, in this statement, he actually admits to hacking into a computer at the Hill household on July 20th, 2012. This is the computer that they claimed belonged to Brian David Hill. According to the search warrant, Robert Bridge hacked into Brian Hill's computer on July 20th, 2012. According to the SBI report, or the discovery report, files were being downloaded between July 20th, 2012 and July 28th, 2013. The SBI file does not show any child pornography files being downloaded prior to July 20th, 2012. Is it a mere coincidence that the downloading of child pornography began on July 20th, 2012, on the same date that Robert Bridge hacked into Brian Hill's computer? In 2013, Brian Hill found out that Melanie Bridge is a sister of Robert Bridge. Robert Bridge's sister, Melanie Bridge Earls, worked as assistant district attorney in Rockingham County from October 2005 through December 2014. She worked for Phil Berger Jr. Phil Berger Jr. was the district attorney in Rockingham County from January 2007 through December 2014. As you may remember, Phil Berger Jr. is the son of the Senator Phil Berger Sr.